Hey, welcome into a special edition of the Husker247 Podcast. I, of course, am Mike Schaefer, but I will not be talking with Michael Bruns or Brian Christopherson or about Nebraska football or baseball or basketball. Instead, bringing in special guest Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated writer, co-host of the podcast Volleyball State. Yes, we are talking Nebraska volleyball today. I wanted to bring Lincoln in because if you lived under a rock and you're not familiar with these things, there have been some changes with Nebraska volleyball. John Cook got on a horse and rode away, and we saw him right off into the sunset. Dani Busboom-Kelly, Nebraska's new coach, and I just feel like it's a good time to catch up, Lincoln. So let's we're gonna go right past the banter. Some people like the banter, other people hate the banter. You and I could banter for a little bit too long about things that aren't related to volleyball. And
so much.
I don't know if that's what the people want. I could get your opinion on the latest season of Survivor. I'm sure that you have one.
Yes, everyone's gearing up for season 50. That's what the eyes are on. Season 50 is what everyone's waiting for.
Yeah, well, when you stopped at season 2, I mean, there's a lot for me to make up there. So we'll see if I get there someday. All right. Let's talk about the survivor that is the Husker volleyball season of 2025. A lot of changes. We'll start with the obvious one. Big offseason change. John Cook, legendary coach, steps aside. Former pupil who has made a name for herself at Louisville, Dani Busboom-Kelly, enters as Nebraska's coach in the post-John Cook world. What have kind of been your impressions since this all went down in January? I know you've talked with Dani a lot in that time. You've followed this team. You've covered a couple of the events and things that they have. What has sort of been your impression now, 8 months post that big decision?
Yeah, this has been a dream scenario for Nebraska volleyball too. As seamless as transition as the handoff was between Cook and Busboom-Kelly, it's just been even smoother. I mean, yes, Dani was out. She had a child in late May and kind of missed that, but she really didn't miss a beat as far as it came to building team chemistry, getting to know the players, integrating 4 people that came to campus over the summer, and really building a roster of 17 people, which is one of the biggest, I think the biggest one they've had in at least more than a decade. So this Dani was built for this job. I mean, she's ever since she was, I don't know if she had her eye on this when she was still playing sports at Freeman High School, but everything in her end of her playing career and her coaching career has been building towards being the head coach in Nebraska too. Her personality is just like we were talking to her last week about the fact, I mean, the first poll came out, she's rated number 1. I mean, as far as we can tell, this is the first time that a first-year head coach has started out the preseason poll number 1 too. But she was so disarming, like, yeah, I think we're very talented. Of course I voted as number 1 too, and we're going to talk about it. It's embracing the culture of Nebraska and not letting it weigh down and be a burden. She's enjoying it. This is what she wants, and she's doing the best she can with the situation.
You know, it's sort of fascinating. We're in this era of Nebraska athletics where a lot of the coaches have had connections to the program, played as players. We've seen it go poorly, if you would, in terms of Scott Frost. And we've also seen the other end of it where Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball have had resounding success. And she embraced sort of everything that came along with coming back to your school and to this area and everything else. Do you sense, and you've sort of already answered it right away, but do you sense that for Dani Busboom-Kelly, the return to Nebraska was an easy decision, even though they had things going very well at Louisville, and they had a life that they really liked there too, but it's still the opportunity to come back to your alma mater?
Yeah, she had, I mean, 2 Final Four, 2 title game appearances in the past 4 or 5 years, and really, I mean, had hosted a Final Four last year too. I mean, I know that was a culmination. It was kind of a nice capstone to what she built at Louisville too. But she signed a new contract, I think, 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, that had a pretty significant
Nebraska clause.
Yeah, the Nebraska clause in there. So she had her eye on this job too. And you also look at when John Cook came back to Nebraska too. It's kind of, he was young, starting his family. Where did he want to put down roots? And he decided Nebraska was a place he wanted to do that. Dani Busboom-Kelly just had her second child, like I said, and having that second child is kind of it's a life-changing moment too, of where do you want to set that family? Where do you want to grow your roots? Also, where can you get more help with daycare and help raising those children? Both her and her husband are Nebraska natives too. So I think family-wise, it really made sense. Timing-wise, it made sense too. And I think when John Cook talked about this a lot too, if he wanted to hand her a product that she can really elevate and take the next level too. It's not like Nebraska program is in shambles. She's really walking into an amazing situation. So it really was the best of worlds. And I think that was it a tough decision? Yes, but I think Nebraska was the only place she was leaving Louisville for, and the timing of it made it right too, of kind of career timing. She had been there for 8 years, so it had a chance to really build that program and also sustain the success that she built there too. So I think the retirement of Cook was surprising, but when you take a step back now and look at like, okay, yeah, this made sense. This was the right timing, and I think it really worked out for both parties of Cook retiring and bringing Dani back in.
So you mentioned that the program is not in shambles, famously,
Yes,
and voted number one in the preseason polls. They did lose a lot from last year's team, and yet at the same time, they have a ton of firepower returning. I don't understand how Nebraska can lose one of its better 4-year players in history.
Yeah.
In Lexi Rodriguez, and it's a story, but then you look at what is still on this team and it's like, well, they still got multiple All-Americans and they're still going to be good enough to be in that conversation. And
Yeah.
not only are they good enough, they are the target for everyone else.
This is what happens when you stack number one, number two. I mean, top 5 recruiting classes. I feel comfortable saying that. There were a couple number ones in there as well too, on top of each other too. I mean, you look at Lainey Choboy, she was committed to Minnesota before she switched. They had a coaching change and she came to Nebraska, switched. She probably would have started at Minnesota the last couple of years as a libero. Now she's backing up Lexi Rodriguez, and she's in position with Olivia Mauk to. They're both playing time, figuring out playing time. They're both going to play a lot too, but that's how you recover from losing one of your all-time greats. I mean, we can argue about Mount Rushmore season. Do you put Lexi Rodriguez on the mountain? But she's put the greatest libero in college volleyball history. We'll just say that. How do you replace her? Well, you plan for it. Jalen Reyes and John Cook and now Dani have been working on this plan. So you're not defined by any one person. If you lose it, you're not devastated. You're able to sustain that success in a long-term ways. I mean, same with Merritt Beeson too. They ran into a little bit of trouble. She was the only opposite on the roster last year. So what they do? Well, they got a freshman coming in. They weren't satisfied with that, so they got a transfer. Then they go out and get an Italian girl who is played professionally the last couple of years. So it's really having that foresight of like, I mean, you don't feel bad for yourself. Oh yes, we have this great player. We're set. Like, it's college players. They got to continuously reload and recruit and rebuild. So it's just the planning they have. I mean, they're already working on 2027s, 2028s, which is looking ahead and making sure that the recruiting engine keeps going.
You've covered volleyball for a long time. You've seen a variety of different players. Harper Murray seems like rarefied air in terms of talent, and she's played with a lot of great players at Nebraska, and so it's not like she's had to do this on her own. But she goes into a part of her career now where the expectation largely is going to be for her to cap this thing off and to really reach the heights of the best players of all time in Nebraska. It probably has to come with the national title.
Yeah.
Is that a conversation or something that she's prepared to have at this point? Or is that something that you feel sort of hangs out there when we discuss Harper Murray?
I think that she wants to win a national. I mean, she has the famous incident after they lost the title game of her freshman year saying that she was going to win the next 3. Again, I thought that was an innocent comment. What do you want her to say in that moment too? Yes, she wants to win the next 3. She's a competitor. She wants to do that. So I think that she fully expects to and wants to win, as putting the work in to do that. So, she's different in the fact that she can have mean, she can have a big match of putting up 15, 20 kills, but she's going to do it in ways that aren't powering through you. She's not a Sarah Franklin type. She's not a Jess Mruzik type that'll just beat you down with blunt force, but she'll mix up her shots. And I think what Harper Murray, what maybe goes unrecognized as much, is she's also one of the best passing outside hitters too. I mean, you talk about how good Lexi Rodriguez is. I mean, Harper Murray was the best passing outside in the country. I think it may have been one other better one last year, but she's essentially like having another libero in the back row when she's there, and really anchors that defense too. So I think that part of her game is under recognized as much. I mean, her kills are great. Her ability to terminate in clutch moments is elite as well too, but her passing really makes her an elite player and one of the best ever. I mean, you think about other people, Michaela Fecke, she really it took her a couple of years too. Yes, she was most outstanding player her freshman year, but she had kind of an inconsistent year to freshman year, sophomore year. She was still figuring things out. It wasn't until her junior, senior year until she really hit that elite level of player that kind of built her reputation too. And I think Harper Murray's on a similar track.
I'm just bouncing around here. So we've covered Harper Murray. We've covered a little bit losing Lexi Rodriguez and Lainey Choboy. There's still just so much talent left to sort of discuss. And you have that right sort of in the middle of your block with Becca Alec, with Andy Jackson. I mean, as you look at this team, that's going to be a little bit different from last year, but do you sense that there isn't a lot of change that Dani Busboom-Kelly has to make in terms of how they play or what they're going to style-wise of who they're going to be?
No, I think you think about this like a house renovation, which I know, Mike, you're in the middle of thinking about house new restoration. I mean, you don't have to tear it down to its studs too. It's putting on a new coat of paint, maybe rearranging the furniture.
Turnkey. It's a turnkey home.
It's a turnkey home. So I think that she will make some improvements. She's going to tweak the offense. She wants to run a little bit faster, so get the ball from the setter to the hitters a little bit quicker. One thing that I always enjoyed watching Louisville play is they have like set routes where they do a lot more crossing, a lot more kind of, I don't know, they're fakes or decoy runs from the setters that really open up hitting windows for attackers. So I think she's more into that too. When it works, it looks amazing and will generate some really cool plays. When it doesn't, I mean, you run it back and try something else too. So I think that's what Dani really brings as a kind of a different offense approach. And that's maybe one of the bigger changes or bigger differences between John Cook and Dani Busboom-Kelly is Cook knew he built an elite defense too, and was willing to play a little bit more passive offense, knowing that his defense would eventually wear the other team down, get them to commit some more mistakes, and rely on both that block and that back row defense to win them matches, win them points. Whereas what Dani does is she wants to be a little more risk-taking, a little bit more aggressive on the offensive attacks. Try going line if you're an outside hitter, or try going high hands or a tool off the block. So I think that's one of the biggest things too. So Dani's really going to invigorate. And just, I mean, when you're replacing a 60-something-year-old guy with a woman who's 40 years old. Dani's not 40, but a younger woman who still, I mean, was a former player herself too. It changes the energy in the program too. And it's refreshing. It's kind of fun too. And just the way she connects with the players is different than kind of the grandpa John Cook that we got the last few years.
One of the coolest things about college volleyball is at the elite level, all of the best teams want to play each other in the non-conference. It is unlike any other sport in college athletics that I can think of, with apologies to other Olympic sports that I don't pay as much attention.
Women's basketball may get into a little bit, but no one does.
A little.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near the same level. And men's basketball, they don't want to at all. I mean, famously, you're just trying to build your net or whatever it is strategically. Baseball, same thing. You might play in a tournament here or there where you catch a decent team, but few teams are scheduling themselves that hard. Yeah. Nebraska volleyball every year plays a non-conference gauntlet and then turns around and plays in conceivably the best volleyball conference in the country. I mean,
yes.
I don't know what else would be close.
That's safe.
And I'm wondering, as you sort of look at this, like, how do you how do you see things sort of play out for Nebraska in the non-conference, so to speak? Because there is a little bit of change. They have to kind of figure out who they are under Dani Busboom-Kelly, but they're right away playing in some big matches. They're going to be down in Nashville for that opening season tournament. What do you kind of foresee here early in the year with Nebraska?
Yeah, we open up 3 of your first 4 matches are against top 10 teams. There's no margin for error. It's like we need to figure out identity. And I think that's good for Nebraska in the fact that they want tests early to figure out, hey, what can these freshmen do against elite talent? What's our best option too? I mean, I've been talking to some other Big Ten coaches at Big Ten Media Days a couple of weeks ago too. They're taking over programs. They lost a bunch too. They need to figure out who they are too. So they scheduled a very MAC heavy schedule or something like that, or not major conference opponents, which is great. They can do that too, but that's not how Nebraska operates. They want to get these people tested. They want to make sure. I mean, sure, anybody can beat up on. No offense. Southwest Missouri State or something like that. I mean, you can play them, you get a win, you figure out some things, but it's not figuring out what they can do against elite competition. So I think it's great for Nebraska too. And it's also great just to see other teams. I mean, Pitt's coming to Lincoln, the Penn State, Creighton are playing too. I mean, Creighton lost a lot, and they're going to be opening up with the defending national champion. So good on them. The new head coach, a couple new players. So it's something that the powers in the sport realize it's a long season, and they're better off learning these lessons now than they would be by the time they get to conference season. I mean, probably the best example of this is Kentucky, who Nebraska plays. They'll play them in Nashville, but Kentucky has gone 2-9, 3-8 in the last non-conference, but they figure out who they are, and then they win 15, 16 matches in a row in the SEC play, which isn't saying much for the SEC. But again, Kentucky goes through the fires, figure out who they are, and then by the postseason, they're getting a national seed, and their seeding may be hurt a little bit too. But I think they'll take the lessons that they learned in September and August for SEC victories down the road.
It feels like kind of a strange question because Nebraska volleyball for much of my entire life has been a national contender, and the fan base here has been rabid about it. But do you feel like there's been an even bigger upswing in the last handful of years of interest, both in terms of the Nebraska fan base locally, but also just sort of in this sport in general?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I know. What I talking to people, you look at Nebraska's crowds that they've gone across the country too. I mean, they're attracting sellout crowds in Seattle and Oregon and Rutgers. Maryland played in their basketball gym and set a program record for attendance there too. So you see it with crowds, but as far as just interest, yes, that's why we have a volleyball only podcast that we can exist year round in the state of Nebraska. So, and also you see with the number of reporters attending media events too. So there is a lot more interest in the sport too. And I think it's great too. And you're going to see it. Was it in a couple of weeks at that AVCA First Serve and Pinnacle Bank Arena? I mean, AVCA has built a 3-day volleyball festival in downtown Lincoln, and there's going to be a lot of red in the stands too. But other fan bases are going to travel here too, and it's not something that they can do that because they've built up the interest and just kind of the excitement around the sport. Usually that'd be reserved for a Final Four when a championship's on the line too, but they're kicking off the season with that big of event too. And I don't know if it's sold out too, but it's going to be a full arena for those volleyball matches.
We'll finish with this. Who are some of the newcomers that the Nebraska fan base should be familiarizing themselves with in the early non-conference here?
Well, there's so many. There's a lot.
Yeah, I know it's unfair. I would love to try to condense it down for you, but I'm just going to let you sort of figure that out.
But I think I'll just say off the top too, this is one of the deepest Nebraska teams that I've ever seen. Part of that is because of the new removal of the scholarship limit. So you can have more than 12 scholarship players too, which then allows you to build this kind of depth too. Some people that I'm very interested in watching, I think you started opposite. Virginia Adriano, who's she's now a freshman from Italy. We saw a little bit of her in the red-white scrimmage. I think the ceiling for her is incredible high. There's some cultural different kind of stuff, just adapting to life in the United States and going to college will be kind of a transition for her. Ali Czech is another opposite too. She's a transfer from Baylor. She hits the ball hard. She has 4 years of experience, has proven herself in the Big 12. So it should be fun to watch too. And then I think one of the other, Terea Sigler too, number one recruit in the nation. The third person I talk about is the number one recruit in the nation. Sorry. But she hits the ball hard. She's very physical and can really terminate the ball too. I'm excited about what she can do. And then I don't know if Nebraska has a center controversy too, but Campbell Flynn, who was the Gatorade National Player of the Year too, is really pushing Bergen Riley too. And even if Riley still starts, she'll be better off for having Campbell Flynn in the setter room with her. And we'll see Campbell Flynn at some point during this year too. But she's part of really pushing Bergen Riley to be a better setter and making her earn that setter spot.
I should have started with this and sort of just got into everything else. What did you see in the red-white scrimmage?
A lot of I was looking at this, like Nebraska never has a very efficient offense in the red-white scrimmage. The last 3 years, no team has hit above 200, but I saw a lot of good flashes. And again, I think depth is the thing. You had two different full teams of just Nebraska players too. Both of them would make the tournament. You could argue if they both were top 10 teams, but there's just so much talent on the floor. And I think one player that I really think is going to have a special season is Rebecca Alec. She had 16 kills, which is great for a middle blocker. She won the lifter of the year. We got to talk to her after the match too. And you can just tell how much this means to her. It's her senior season. She's really been building for this. They'll name captain sometime the next week probably, and she wants to be that leader, wants to be the person that people look to, and she's just really focused on having a great season and going out with the title that she's been chasing for the last 3 years. So I think that, I don't know if she was a surprise, but she's just really impressive and really put together one of the best performances during that scrimmage. So depth and the middle blockers as a whole, there's 4 middle blockers on the roster. We're all really impressive, led by Rebecca Alec.
Lincoln, appreciate your time here this morning. Where can people get more good Lincoln Arneal volleyball information?
Yes. You go to, Huskers Illustrated, write for them, Volleyball State Podcast. Go to volleyballstate.com. I think I have all of my social media there. Lincoln_VB is probably at Twitter is where I do most of my work too, but I'm also on several other platforms. Go to volleyballstate.com. I got a link tree to get all the good stuff there and get the podcasts and watch YouTube videos or TikToks, whatever social media you're on. We probably got something for you.
All right, Lincoln, we should do this again. I'm gonna make a mental note of myself. We did a preseason. I'm gonna more towards the start of Big Ten play. We're gonna do a check-in coming off of the non-con and getting into the meat of the schedule. And then it gets tricky because you're a busy guy, but we'll see if we can sneak something in before the postseason or right around the beginning of the postseason. And maybe I'll bring some friends and we can have a Nebraska volleyball postseason hypecast.
Oh, hypecast. Let's get hype. I can't wait to make some oddly specific predictions for the hypecast. I've been thinking of what I could do for that if we ever got the chance with volleyball. But
I don't know how, but somehow Heinrich Harburg will make an appearance for Michael Brunt on his oddly specific prediction.
He'll have some tight ends he can make fun of there. What's the tight ends of volleyball is middle blocker, so he can find some way to slander a middle blocker or undercut their legs.
Okay. Well, we can look forward to that.
BC is the one who hates them.
Yeah, I was going to say BC has
Brunt's the one who builds them up. Sorry. Yeah. Brunt builds them up. BC will tear them down.
It's wildly polarizing to be caught in the middle of it. I just want everyone to get along. But
and then we just talk about volleyball. We hit all the highlights, all the high notes. So it's great. Volleyball is just we're waiting to break that door down.
Yeah, well, we're excited to be there right with you to enter through the door of volleyball content here on Husker 24/7. Lincoln Arneal, appreciate your time here again. We'll be getting him on later this season and hopefully a couple times because we anticipate this program definitely not in shambles. Will be very, very active over the next few months. All right, for Lincoln Arneal, I'm Mike Schaefer, coming to you with another Husker 24/7 podcast. Be sure to check out everything we have going on at Husker247.com.